so much. Hello, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here to share with you some tips on social media selling. We've got a great group of people that have joined us. So let me get my screen shared and I'll start kicking off the presentation for today. A team member of mine, Nancy, is on the right-hand side tracking all of your comments. But as the team mentioned earlier, if you have anything in more detail that you'd like to chat with me about, please join the VSW booth right after this session. I'm so looking forward to talking to you about social media selling. So let's get started. All right, here we go. I hope you can see me okay and hear me all right. My name is Tara and I'm the founder of Social Tea. We provide social media management, training, and strategy to businesses of all sizes. So companies come to us to design a plan that they can follow using a strategy, or to top up their knowledge with training, or sometimes they come to us and say, can you just manage social media and take it off our plate? And we do that too. I'm thrilled to be here to talk about social media selling. Why this topic is so important is because in my 10 years in business, it's something I get asked about all the time. So all of the information you'll be learning about today is from information that we've pulled from clients, contacts, prospects, and our network to give you the most value-added information that you need to sell your business on social. So what are the benefits of social media for business? Of course, people ask me this all the time, and I wanted to give it to you in a nutshell right here. First of all, of course, to showcase your products and services. It is the most up-to-date place to keep your business top of mind with your network. Using social media the right way, you can build trust with your audiences. When you share really thoughtful content that inspires and enlightens and gives people the option to take a click and learn more is really what social media helps drive you towards. Thought leadership is a piece that social media has become even more valuable for. It is a great place for leaders, the team, and the company to build trust with their current and new audiences. Social media also benefits your Google search results. If you want to appear higher on Google search without spending money on ads, be more active on LinkedIn and all of your social media profiles, and it will really help you gain traction for keywords and industry information that you're sharing on social. Of course, the more you share on social media and the better you link back to your website, you will drive quality traffic to it. So the frequent updates that we put on social media drive people to our website, which helps them make a transaction or contact us, which is a sale, or at least the start of a sale. Of course, social media also works for achieving brand consistency. It's a place where you own the content. You can manage and control what's put out there. So your brand message, your visuals, the types of information you want people to know about the business comes directly from you, and in turn is the most accurate and up to date. Now, this is interesting. We polled hundreds of business owners in the past few years, and we learned that 70% of those businesses plan on using social media for these 4 things. Number 1, to drive consumers to purchase, no matter what it is, a product or service. Number 2, to increase brand awareness. And what this means is people know of their company. So when they meet someone at a networking event, virtual or in person, someone says to them, I've heard of your company, or, oh, someone just told me about you the other day. That is true brand awareness driven from social media. Next, and most importantly, announcing new products and service so you stay top of mind and your network knows what's happening within your company. And then last, promotions. So little nudges to your network where they can learn how to get in front of the latest deals or updates that they need to know about your product or service. Social media helps promote your business in these 3 key ways. Awareness. It keeps you top of mind with your network. The more frequently you post and the more quality your posts are. Number 2, amplification. Social media, just like an event like this, is one to many. You have an opportunity to now share your story to an endless number of people, which is billions that are using social media. And last, demand. Social media drives people to be interested in your product or service. And the more that you're top of mind with them, they'll go, I want that. Another survey that we recently got responses for from several leaders in business was they were telling us the challenges they were having about why they weren't leveraging social media to the best capacity for them. And here's what we ended up finding out. The main challenges that businesses were having was number one, they didn't have a plan. They didn't have a guide to know what to do on social media that would give them a strategy that was going to make them see the reward of why they were putting in the time. So lack of strategy came up as the number one biggest challenge for businesses. Number two was capacity. A lot of the companies were small to medium-sized businesses, and they just didn't have the time or energy to put the social media content out. The third is skill. Not really knowing what each tool does and how to use them properly. And last, of course, budget's always going to be something that comes up for businesses from startup to successful, because you need to have the resources to get what you want out of social media. Now at Social Tea, we focus on organic social media. So we are not as much a pay-to-play model where advertising is not a huge focus for us. So all of the tips today about social media selling are how to promote your products and services without spending $1 on advertising. So everything today is not about ad strategy and all that. Those are bonuses for any clients that we work with. We want you to understand how to use social media to sell the right way with quality content through awareness and amplification. And then advertising is how you elevate that a level further. So when you know that these 4 things are a challenge, I'd be curious to all of you in the room to know if you also relate with one of these 4 or all of them, because it's very common that we're running into these roadblocks about why people might not be getting on social media. But 71% of small to medium-sized businesses are on social media, and over 50% post at least daily. That means that you need to be on social media and sharing the right content to your target audience so you can stand out amongst all of those businesses that are already using it. But really, the key to effective social media is having a strategy that works for you and that has the ROI and KPIs that are going to be reasonable for you to actually attain. So here's my simple social media strategy that I've designed working with hundreds of businesses over the past few years. Number one, you need a strategy that is actionable and measurable. It's easy for you to follow the steps. It's not confusing, so you're actually going to do it. And you've set some KPIs that you want to meet when you launch your social media. Next is empowers the team. A social media strategy should get the team very involved, and they want to take part in it. They want to feel like they can be a part of liking, commenting, and sharing the posts that the company puts out. A good social media strategy will result in increased engagement, so likes, comments, shares, and awareness. Back to that, oh, I've heard of you mindset. Quality interactions is when people in a community start sharing content for you, and a good social media strategy will deliver that. And then lastly, it allows you to have a more impactful and unique business and brand when your social media strategy is customized and very creative and have nuances that fit your industry or are outside the box for your industry. So your strategy is not only a guide and a plan that you can follow, it's always also something that's going to be unique to your business and help you stand out. So let's get into social media selling. I like to break this down into 4 Ps with a couple S's in there so that you can very easily understand what's most important when it comes to selling on social in an organic way. So number 1 is we're going to talk about product or service and the messaging and how you message those. Number 2, we're going to speak about place. 3, promotion, and 4, your professional presence. So let's get into product and service messaging. Number 1. Messaging is so important for businesses, and this is the way you can break it down into tangible bits that your audience can actually absorb the information and take action. And we call these the FABs. It's a very popular piece in sales. So you want to speak about the features, advantages, and benefits, but not exactly that straightforward. You got to make it fun. But in a nutshell, this is what you want to cover in your social media posts when highlighting a product or service to sell it. Number 1, what is it? I need to clearly understand what the heck you're trying to sell me in little to no time. Next, what makes it better than the other guys? How can I clearly differentiate why your product or service is right for me compared to what your competitors are putting out? And lastly, how does it help me? What does it do to make my life easier? The more you can encapsulate the story in relation to FABs, the better your product will sell on social. So here are some visual examples of messaging on social. And we consider your visual to be part of your messaging because often on social media, it's the first thing that grabs people's attention. So here are some food brands that have successfully driven a very clear brand message using visuals on social. The first is Social Light. It's a vodka beverage, and they have done a beautiful job color planning all of their content on social media to match their different flavors. Cheezos, this just makes you want to eat these yummy Parmesan crisps out of Sonoma Creamery. And last but not least, Upton's Naturals. They do jackfruit and other vegan meat products. They've done a beautiful job of showcasing how to use their menu items in stunning images that just make you hungry. So visual storytelling is part of the message. So include that in your fabs, not only what you're trying to tell people with words, but how you're showing them to interact with your product. Now let's talk about services. Service businesses always get stuck on this because they sometimes find their company is too boring or not interesting enough to have great visuals on social media. And that's not true. All West Insurance really wanted to attract a millennial audience. So recently they engaged with us to do their social media, video, and some photography. And what we did was we took their story, which was advertising their new products that they were releasing, and brought in millennial talent to showcase and interact with the new infrastructure they were launching. In turn, we've had super high engagement. We're able to launch contests with thousands of people entering just because we thought outside the box and really helped their brand shine with visuals. So marketing your service-based business can happen through stunning photos, videos, and great content. BC Blueberry Council is super fun to talk about, and they're actually a council. So we're highlighting blueberries, but through the council's lens. So we use, again, a lot of visuals to showcase the product, but also highlight the people within the organization, which is very, very key. So just remember that visuals for service-based businesses, if you're stuck on what visuals to use, consult an agency, especially a social media company, who can help you select the right visuals that will make your content pop. Because you can write great content all day long, but if you don't have the image that matches it, you'll always get stuck and can't sell your service on social. Now, what do you post? So now you have your message figured out, you've got some great visuals, but what do you share on social media? Our plan is to always share a person, a place, or what you're passionate about. And if you stick to that strategy when sharing content on social media, you can have maybe 1 post a week or 7. It just depends how many pieces of content you can create that fall within these categories of what we call winning content. So when we talk a little bit more about organic content, you want people to be engaged and interested at the get-go. And so we found that when there's a person in a photo, that always gets higher engagement than showing a product or something that doesn't have an individual in it. Pets are also included in this. When you show a pet, people go gangbusters. So people and pets are a real win when it comes to something different to highlight on your feed. If you have a product or service, just don't forget about the people that make those things come to life. So within your people pet content, you can showcase your team, so anyone around the office or working from home, and of course, company wins. Don't forget to give shout outs and kudos to your organization as a whole. Place. People love to actually see your workplace, your studio, where you create magic and what you do in your business. So the place here is really resonating with where you get work done or what you enjoy to do even outside of the business, which is kind of a blend of place and passion. If you're involved in community projects or hobbies outside the office, social media is meant to be social as long as it's still professional. So consider sharing some things you get up to outside of your business, because that might actually have more people relate to you because you're sharing some things that make you more human. So humanizing your content by sharing these areas of what to post, I think will really drive your engagement and then turn your interest in your business and ideally calls as well. Place. This is one of the easiest things that you can do on social media to sell easier. Number one, if you have a brick and mortar location, such as All West Insurance they do, tag that location in every post and let people know the general area it's in. If I knew that I had an insurance company 2 blocks away in Kitsilano, that's a really good thing for me to know because I'm probably going to pick the guy that's most local to me. So always considering tagging your location of where your business is or where you want people to go to buy your product or secure your service is key. So office locations on online profiles, using directories to put your information on them. These are old school tactics, but they don't go away. People still need to know where you're located, how to get a hold of you, and always keeping your place in mind and reminding people of the area that you're in. Place also builds community. So back to our previous slide, if you can talk a little bit more about the community you're in and any impact your business might have there, that again brings in other local businesses to the conversation. A fleshed out Google My Business profile is one of the best ways to gain position on Google search results without spending any money. So ensure that your Google My Business is up to date, fleshed out, and has the right information for people to get a hold of your business. A lot of us are searching right now on our mobile phones, and so they want to search for something that relates to your product or service, and you want to be the first ones to show up on the map. And to do that, it's Google My Business. Promotion. Social media is obviously an amplification tool. It's how we highlight what we're up to, what we're doing, what our company does, what products or services we want to sell. But really, what we promote on social needs to be a bit more clear, and that's where people lose their message sometimes. So when you're thinking about what to share on social media, here are some things you can do. Stories that educate and inspire. Today, I learned in my business that one of the biggest pieces of feedback we got from our customers was this, and here's what we did about it. Our latest product solves this problem for you. Did you know that our company is a B Corp? Have you checked out this event that we're speaking at? If you attend, you get a free consult. Just starting to dive into more stories around what makes people interested in your business and extending it past just a regular post that doesn't add impact. I did a TEDx talk all about think before you share and ask yourself who cares. It's totally relevant in business social media as well. What do people really want to know about? What do you see from other businesses that you think aren't interesting or are so interesting you can't stop following them? So consider that for your social media. Make it engaging, interesting, and full of jam-packed educational information. If you're getting stuck on what to share in your promotion piece of social media to amplify your products and services, start to think about partnerships. How can you partner with local businesses in your area or BIAs, or cross-promote your product or service with a company that might seem totally different, but actually has some great sync with you? And then contests. Contests are a great way to launch new products and services. For example, All West Insurance, like I mentioned, had a few thousand entries for a contest we did recently, only in the Vancouver area. BC Blueberries had a contest with White Spot, and we had 5,000 people join the email list to be a part of the contest entry. So don't limit yourself to sometimes the dollar value of what your prize is. Sometimes it's the way in which you collaborate and partner with great organizations that can actually elevate your promotion to a level that you might not be able to do just with your own following. So how do you stand out on social, really? The number one thing is post frequently, but not too frequently. So don't go to a point where you get annoying for people. Post enough that you appear and stay top of mind. The methodology that we use is aim for 2 to 3 posts a week. And obviously, if you can post every day, great. Just make sure you're checking your engagement metrics to see if that's actually driving people to your business or contacting your company to see what number of posts every week is going to work. Engage daily. You have a community to get in front of when you're on social media. Contact people, reach out on DMs, start conversations. It's not just about posting on social media, it's about how you build a network. Share compelling stories. Bring in your testimonials, your loop in information that helps people build trust and reminds people that you're a human that they want to interact with and that you have a great team that they would probably want to work with. And last, building awareness really does start, this should be number one here probably. It starts with great photography and video, and it does not have to break the bank. At Social Tea, we have video packages where you can get 4 stunning videos for under $2,000. This is a great example. We did some with All West, and they performed very, very well, but they were also planned properly. So having a plan for photography and videography before you go and build out your social media plan is really, really important. So again, just to recap, to build awareness and sell on social, you need to post frequently, you need to engage daily, share compelling stories, which means commenting and interacting with your network and new networks, and then incorporating stunning visuals like photography and videography that help tell your story even better. There are also an abundance of features that you can use to sell on social media that cost you nothing other than learning the tools. Knowledge is power when it comes to social media. It's very hard to keep up the latest and greatest updates. So sometimes you just need to pick one platform and get really, really good at it, and then maybe add 2 or 3 more. But these are some new features that Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest has opened up to us all that we can use to sell on social media in a very quick way. So Instagram, I'm sure you've all seen stories, reels, IGTV, and in-app shopping. By creating quality visuals and content, all we have to do is post them on Instagram the right way, which we can help you with, so reach out. Post them the right way on Instagram, and you will then get a huge engagement and ideally a sale to your business. Facebook, again, since they're linked with Instagram, they have stories and ads. We do sometimes run $5 or $10 ads if we're wanting a boost in something or awareness. And ads is a whole other avenue that we can get into when you want to really sell something strategically and you have a good budget to work with. But if not, you can just boost a few posts for $5 or $10, and we'd be happy to share with you how you do that. Pinterest, I think, is going to become reinvigorate itself. Pinterest is a place that really gained a lot of traction, and then TikTok came around and all of these other platforms added these features, and Pinterest got a little distracting, I think, for people to go to another platform. But don't lose interest on Pinterest. Pinterest is one of the best converting social media platforms out there. That means that a lot more people click through from a Pinterest visual, a photo or video, to your website than they ever would on Instagram or on Facebook. So if you have a lot of visuals and have a stunning story to tell, use Pinterest, and that could be a really good pathway to drive new traffic to your business. For example, at Social Tea, we just got on Pinterest 3 months ago, and we already have 43,000 unique viewers a month on our content. And the average post with tips on it for social media advice has 10,000 views, and it drives about 10% of that to our website with people wanting to learn more about what we do in our blog and into our blog. So again, content is the knowledge you already have in your business. You already know a lot of this stuff. You just need to translate it into the right, most encompassing way of sharing it on social to get people interested in your product and service. And then these added layers of new features help you highlight those things you want to tell in your business in new ways. This is the most important slide for everybody that's a startup to a successful business today. If you're not on LinkedIn or not using LinkedIn properly, you are missing out on how to sell on social. I consider LinkedIn to be more of a professional network than a social network, but we've often combined it into the Facebook and Instagrams of the world. What you need to know right now is LinkedIn is the best sales tool and lead generator you can imagine for business. 4 out of 5 people use LinkedIn to make business decisions. So if I want to hire an app developer for my company, I'll probably look at who's in the organization, what their experience is, what their company does, and see who I know at that organization to build trust before I reach you. Okay? So LinkedIn is a place where you need to really map out what your strategy is, post frequently, just like the other social media platforms, and develop a system for how you're going to get in front of the right opportunities. So your other company social media, the photos, the videos, the stories you're going to share, those build authority and build trust and get people to maintain their top of mindness with your business and brand awareness, right? But LinkedIn is how you as a business owner and a business leader and your team actually makes real in-person interactions with potential opportunities. So don't let it get lost. It's very, very important. And here's our easy LinkedIn strategy that we've followed to plan for success on LinkedIn. The first is to highlight your expertise. So use LinkedIn to share very clearly what makes me want to trust you, why I should hire you or your company, what builds that brand authority right away using your personal LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn should also be a place where you're starting to establish thought leadership. So that the media and other contacts know that you then become the go-to person in your industry. LinkedIn is the greatest way to get right in contact with decision makers at companies that you want to work with. There is a strategy to reaching out to them the right way, so we can talk about that later, but just use this as your new version of a Rolodex and a new version of getting connected to the right people. And of course, LinkedIn is a great place to grow your network strategically. Do not connect with every single person on LinkedIn. Be strategic. Use it as a place where you can search contacts later and get introductions. So in a nutshell, here are the 4 P's of social selling organically without relying on ads. Number 1 is have fantastic product and service messaging. Use the fabs and stunning visuals to tell your story and inspire people and ignite them to interact with your brand and business the right way. Number 2, use place to make it easy for people to find your business. Add location tags to every post. Talk about the area that you work in. If you're a fully remote business, that doesn't mean that you can't share stories about where your remote team works from and what you do in your local community if you have different arms to it. Promotion. Be consistent. Share frequent posts that tell your story. And last but not least, make sure you have a professional presence. Leverage LinkedIn to generate new business because LinkedIn is for you as a person and all of your other social media is for brand awareness as a company overall. Now I would love to encourage the room to ask questions. I have to make sure I get this right, so just bear with me when I move back over to the section so I can read your comments. But before we get to that, I really want to go back to emphasizing how to build thought leadership using LinkedIn. Businesses come to us to design a strategy that their team can use to elevate their social media, or they have us take social media off their plate by managing their social. But one of the key things that's coming up a lot for leaders in a business and people creating startups or entrepreneurs or people on boards is they want to establish themselves as a thought leader in their industry that's a subsidiary of their company. So if you're hoping to build thought leadership and have more of a presence and secure more speaking engagements, design a personal website to build authority for yourself as a leader so that your company becomes a company where people are like, oh, Tara Clark of Social Tea. I have a personal identity for Tara Clark and Social Tea is an identity, but they cross-pollinate. And so this masterclass was designed to help people use my guide that several successful business owners in this area have been following to really elevate how they show up online as leaders and to secure opportunities for them to speak one-to-many through speaking or interviews or media or podcasts. So if you're keen on really establishing yourself as an industry expert the right way and not wasting a ton of time trying to figure it out, we have this 5-hour masterclass that we're doing on November 5th. So please be sure to take a look at the information on this link and give us your info, and we will be happy to share more details with you. In the meantime, I'm going to just switch back over to Hopin so we can have some conversations and I can answer any questions you all might have about social media selling. So let me just stop this here and I'll rejoin you. And let's see if we have any questions here from the group. Downloads for mobile apps. Thank you so much for asking that, Yoni. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Mobile app downloads are a great way to do that is to definitely work on building out more of an email list. So again, I'm talking about organic. You can spend a lot advertising for app downloads, and that's a great way to get maximum traction. So ads is a totally other strategy for social media selling. But in the case, if you want to work on organically, build stunning email marketing pieces and reshare that content on your social media and vice versa. So start having your email list work for you so that people can easily get an email for you and click to download. that's a really good way to get more mobile app downloads in my experience. Pushing out updates about mobile app updates, of course, is important as well. When it comes to mobile apps, another way is to just remind people about what the benefit of your app is. So visual storytelling, having little video snippets explaining what the benefits are in creative ways, using animation or videos, whatever it might be. You will get app downloads the more you get people to be really inspired with using the tool more often. Push notifications, of course, are really great in that case as well. Conversion inside the app, that's something we can chat about separately since I want to stick to social media right now. But mobile app downloads, use an email list, use your social media to also promote that app download and vice versa. Let's see what else we have. How do we get thousands of subscribers to our newsletter on social networks? This is thought leadership. So if you want to get a lot of people onto your email newsletter, you need to talk one-to-many. So building thought leadership for you as a leader. So Yoni, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You can then get a lot of people to see you speak or in a podcast or in a media piece or via your personal website. So people trust people. So a great way to get more people to your email list to sign up and opt in the right way, you want to be posting on your personal LinkedIn about why your email list is great, what makes your newsletter unique, and why they need to be a part of it. So as a leader and as people in your company, establishing that authority so people, it's just instant they get your app and instant they get your email marketing. That's the way I would go about getting a lot more email subscribers, is building trust one-to-many. And sometimes that starts through the thought leadership piece. Again, through advertising on Facebook, you can get a really good amount of email subscribers or email contacts. But organically, start to get more engagements that you can build your email list through a lot of contacts being available and being there. Paul, 10, question, pro and con for in-house social media versus an agency. Really great point. If you want an agency to take everything off your plate, that's when an agency is great. However, agencies will charge for that. So agency pricing could be anywhere from $2,500 to $7,500 or more a month. So if your business has the budget to allow someone to take social media management completely off your plate, then the agency route is great because they will free up that time that you probably don't have as you're building your business, as long as you can maintain that budget. In-house social media is fantastic, but it should not, depending on your company size, it probably isn't a full-time role. So consider that. Maybe you want to secure someone like Social T to train your team on how to do social media the right way, so that you're not having someone in a full-time role do social media when you can maybe train them to do it quicker and then do other marketing things. So pro and con, in-house social media pro is you have someone completely invested in doing that 8 hours a day. The con of that is that they might not need 8 hours if you're a growing company. They could probably get training and tools to do it more efficiently and then help you in other ways. And a pro of an agency, take it all off your plate. The con is there's a big investment to having an agency manage that for a year or more. So from time to time, we'll share some of our business secrets. On the top, you can also see links to our social networks. Okay, Yoni, thank you. I was just wondering if we will have access to the PowerPoint recording. Jenny, thank you for asking. You can send me an email and I'm happy to send you access to my PowerPoint, and I believe there'll be a recording available later if not, but I'd be more than willing to give you a link to it. There's actually some extra slides I didn't include on there, so reach out and you can get those bonus pieces of information. Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. $5 to $10, Yoni. Social media boosts. You can spend $5 to $10 to boost a post on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest and get a few hundred people impressions. So not exactly an engagement where someone will like and comment, but impressions. So if you want to have little maximum impact boosts where you get more awareness for one post or a series of posts, you can budget $50 to $100 a month to do that. However, those will not necessarily be lead generators using ads. Those will more be amplification and elevating a message to a target audience. Let's see what else here. How would you recommend increasing engagement by Steph? Great point. Number one is start the conversation. Find a hashtag that you want to get in front of for your industry or business or personally and start talking to people. True, authentic comments, ask them questions, like their post, start to really drive conversations. And that the easiest way to do that is to search a hashtag and find out who's talking about things in an authentic and cool way and be a part of the conversation. So that increases engagement because you're conversing. Don't just like other people's posts, comment. Same goes both ways. A lot of us kind of ghost scroll on all social media. You're not benefiting anybody. In that, if you want people to engage with your business or personal social media content, you need to like, comment, or share. Like and comment, or like and share. If not, Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or TikTok, they don't know that it's interesting content. They just see people swiping by it. So by you engaging with other people's content, ideally they'll engage back. So just start to be a human on social media. And even if you're a brand, you can still interact with people asking questions about your industry or service or whatever it might be. So engaging with people will increase engagement or brands. Another way to increase engagement is to use stories. Now LinkedIn has stories, Facebook, Instagram. Ask questions. Start conversations by igniting something that's top of mind, and that will also build some interest and engagement in your business. Also, when people talk about engagement, I sometimes ask them, well, what does that mean to you? You need to be using some kind of tool to measure your social media success. We use Later and we love it. And it allows us to see how much engagement each post gets. Because sometimes people think they're not getting good engagement, but they might actually have better engagement than they do something else. So start at a benchmark about what your engagement is and where you want to go. And then reach out to me and I'd be happy to guide you on what good engagement might look like for your business or industry or brand. I'm happy to help you customize that a little bit more. Razan, does it ruin the excitement and momentum of getting your email list too early in the stage? An example, 4 months prior to the app. Great question. If you are in startup mode, which a lot of you are, and are about to launch a product or service, there is a sweet spot to when to start sending your communication about when you can get your app or your website or your tool or your services now launching. People will not remember it 4 months from now. So try to keep your real release, a beta or news where people take action, to at most 2 to 3 weeks before it happens. Any time before that, people are going to forget and not be aware. So use that 4 months before the 2 to 3 week announcement, before it goes live, to build engagement, to get people excited, to share with them who's on your team, what you're up to, what area you're in, teasers about what's to come. So build the excitement, build that email list, but don't actually send anything or start really giving a launch timeline until 2 or 3 weeks out at the most. Or at the least. Most, least. Anyways, you know what I mean. Andrew, if I'm looking to build a community or network and gain a following, is organic strategy more effective than inorganic? Okay. It all depends what community means to you. If you are all about getting a bunch of followers, you can't even pay for those anymore. A lot of influencers were lucky to grow their following by spending a few $100s, and now they have 15,000, 20,000 followers. But they haven't grown since then because they paid to play and get those followers. So the way that we approach social media is by using your people, so LinkedIn, a really strong LinkedIn presence, and talking about your business or product or services, whatever it is, and then elevating that with a company social media presence where you build trust and authority and talk about the fabs, that will help you then grow a niche audience. However, I want to say that your community and network, it's not that easy to grow. So you got to be really creative or really niche in order to grow your network the right way. So organic for us is more effective because we might only have 400 followers on a brand new Twitter account we just started. But those 400 followers at this point on social media that they've gained are authentic, ready to buy or ready to listen customers. So that's what our approach to social media is the content is so key and so answering people's pain points and questions and sharing those answers and enticing, exciting, creative ways that the following we have for our clients and for us, even though small, they're engaged and like ready to share and click and all of those things. So an organic following in that way is great because it's very likely people that want to work with you or want to listen to what you have to say. But with that comes not as many followers because we aren't paying to elevate every single piece of content we put out. Jessica, when creating a social media strategy, is there a method used to create a schedule for posting and how to ensure consistency? Yes. We create a 12-month content calendar for our clients. The content calendar is signed off and approved by them. Once the content themes are mapped out every month and the clients are very thrilled with what the themes are, if we're doing it, then we then take those themes and create content, or we train the person in-house on how to take those themes and create content that matches the theme. So what we do is create that monthly idea of what we want to talk about. But then we also incorporate news and what's happening in the industry so that we're also injecting really important things that happen in real life that we need to have in the social media piece. So we just use an Excel sheet, Google Sheets, to create this content calendar. And then we use later to schedule the content once it's created, copy, and once it has a visual that can match. So that's where we have social media success when it comes to creating a schedule for posting. If you have any guidance on creating an Instagram map or schedule, or really a content schedule for anything, please reach out. We love doing it because sometimes in your business, you're like, what should I talk about? I had a business owner the other day ask me, I have a laundromat, what can I talk about? And I was so excited because there are so many things you can talk about with a laundromat and build community around a laundromat and just have some fun with it. So sometimes you just need to bring in an outside source to brainstorm content ideas with you, and that will make your schedule and your content more interesting. So don't think that you have to come up with all the ideas. Sometimes working with Social Tea's team and aligning with us will give you a lot of ideas to work with. I'm an upcoming food startup and we don't have an existing email list. How do we leverage social media to build a list? So number one is you want to start to share really informative content about your business on social media. And then the call to action should be for people to go to your website to sign up for your email list, or all the content you share is so good, people don't want to miss your email list. I think maybe what I should do is have a whole course on email list building. So what I'll do for everyone in the room is in my Thought Leadership Masterclass, I will have a whole section about building an email list. So if you sign up for my wait list and join my masterclass, there will be a whole hour devoted to email list building. And the thought leadership stuff is included in that. So I highly encourage you guys to check that out. Nancy on my team is going to keep linking it here. But there's enough coming up about email marketing, and I think it is part of social in a roundabout way, because your email marketing drives people to your website and to your social, and your social media could be the driver to get people to sign up for your email marketing. There is much more to it, and there is a strategy for it. I'm just giving the Coles notes. But yeah, we'll dive into that deeper in the Thought Leadership course, so check that out. I'm currently, R&R Jessica, I'm currently learning social media selling on the job. I've been looking at doing a part-time course, but there's so many digital marketing courses out there at different costs. Is a professional course needed to excel? Jessica, I would love to know a little bit more about what you're selling. And that way I can navigate that a little bit more. Like really, what are you selling? Are you trying to sell a product? Because that's a totally different strategy than a service. And knowing what your budget is to sell. So that's really important. Like, do you plan on sell through advertising, or do you plan on sell through creating more content that drives people organically to be interested in your product or service? So I would say that, send me a message, because I can talk way more about social media selling and how to get the best results from that as it relates to a course or learning. So send me a note. And if anybody else here wants to reach out to me about that as well, my email is linked in here. Roseanne, is it okay to hype up your followers way before your app is ready, like 4 to 6 months? Oh, I think I answered that before. I would say hype them up 2 to 3 weeks before, create an email system, create a 3 week before, hey guys, it's coming, and like some amazing visual that gets them super excited. 2 weeks before, some other really cool nudge. So this is, again, where storytelling and visuals is going to be the thing that has people waiting to get that release email. And that timeline is important as well. Jessica, thank you. Shaznak, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you. Jessica, it's a recruitment technology platform. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So reach out to me, because we've worked with a lot of recruitment companies about selling on social media. And there's 2 different ones. So Social T helps businesses with their social media. And then sometimes within the business, like a recruitment company, all the recruiters want to know how to get in front of prospects on LinkedIn. And I say, I would never tell a recruiter how to use LinkedIn. They are pros at that. But what I do and what our team does is we help businesses better optimize their profiles, better communicate on LinkedIn, how to share quality posts on LinkedIn so people don't get bored, and how to empower their team to engage with the content on the company page. So that's why I think it's important to understand where a company's social media presence leads into training your team to know how to use social as well. So we do a combined approach. And back to building your email list, your team, if they can share that you have an email newsletter that no one should miss, they are a great, easy way to get people to go to your company email newsletter and subscribe. So use your team as a way to encourage them to share on LinkedIn and share on their social media where relevant and where professional, of course, that you want to get more subscribers to your email list. So use your team to navigate and share that information. A great example of this is Taylor at Later, who I think has moved on from there. She built this amazing email marketing system where they share super impactful content about Later and about Instagram and Pinterest. Check it out. The blog is fantastic and the newsletter is great. But she also posts about the Later newsletter on her personal LinkedIn and on her personal social media. So that's organic. That's not just the company doing all the work anymore. That's the team investing their time because they love what you do so much that they also want people to know about it. And I can dive more into that in our Thought Leadership Masterclass. So my LinkedIn has been linked in there. If anybody else has questions for me, I'm going to hop out of here and I'll be in my booth. So please be sure to check that out. Nancy's going to link this Thought Leadership Masterclass once more. We're going to add email list building to this and getting your people empowered to promote your product or service for sure. That'll be really important. Before I jump off, though, how about I give 60 more seconds for any of you to ask another question about social media selling in an organic sense. Please feel free to pop in here and ask me something. I love to share, as you can probably tell. It's my true passion. What else can I share with you? Oh, again, the information that was included in this, I will email you, no problem, happy to share it. And why this content about the 4 Ps was included today is because in the hundreds of business owners we've worked with and the several speaking engagements that I've done, people have asked every single one of those questions. So how I got to this topic today about social media selling and how I got to the tidbits I shared is because people are asking, and they asked enough that I needed to cover it. And I hope that that was helpful to you. But where these ideas turn into execution is the strategy and the creativity and how you bring these points to life. So feel free to reach out to me so we can maybe strategize some ways that you can make your product promotion, place, and message really pop, or build out your LinkedIn presence even more. Thank you to the Vancouver Startup Week community. I had a really great time. I hope you can tell how excited I am to share with this network, and I hope to see you in our VSW booth in the next few minutes. Thank you.
Tara, we do have a few more minutes, and I think I just saw 2 more questions pop up just in the last few minutes. If you wanted to respond to those 2 more questions, and then we can close out the session.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry, I just see these ones now. How valuable is it to use webinars to sell my service? It's great. However, I find that people are having a bit of Zoom anxiety, I call it right now. There's a lot of Zoom conversations happening. So make sure that if you're doing a webinar for a service, that it is something that you're getting asked about so much, you have to turn it into a webinar. And that's why my thought leadership class came to be, and now this email marketing I'm seeing is a big value add as well. So really pull your network, and before you take the time to do a webinar or something, because they take a lot of energy to plan and practice and all of those things, just make sure that it's something that at least 25 to 50 people have asked you for, so that you're really satisfied with who shows up to learn from you during the webinar day. And then, making sure you have a good email list and a good social media plan in place to get people to that webinar. So definitely webinars for services are great. But additionally with services, by building out a great LinkedIn presence for your company page and for you personally, you'd be amazed at sharing the right stories on there, how many people will be invested in learning more about your service. Definitely. How effective do you find hashtags? Are they relevant? Yes. So relevant, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn hashtags have become an amazing source for thought leadership and community, and a great place for you to dive into those conversations that I mentioned earlier, rather than just liking stuff, commenting and sharing content. And use hashtags as your tool to find out what you want to engage in, number one. And also use hashtags to extend your reach. So try not to use hashtags that have millions of people leveraging them. It won't benefit you. You will never show up in those hashtags. Instead, try to use on Instagram 15 or so hashtags that are very specific to the topic of your post, because every post will be different. On LinkedIn, try to use 3 to 5 that are super stellar for your industry and your topic of choice. And then on Twitter, that's definitely where hashtags can trend, but you can only fit so many. So just try to, again, think of like 3 really solid hashtags that will benefit the business. But I see hashtags as not only a way for you to get reach of when you put them on your own posts, but as your tool for what to engage with. I know I've said that a few times, but I think that that's what they're not being used for enough. But when you go on any platform and click on a hashtag, there are hundreds of conversations of people talking about that one thing. So the more specific you get on your hashtags without being too limited, the better conversations you can have. Yeah, so I think hashtags are very relevant. Jessica, just out of curiosity, sorry if I can ask Jessica this one question. I would be curious to know what platform in particular you're wondering about. Hashtags on TikTok even. I didn't even talk about it. Love TikTok. They're also really good for there as well. So definitely use hashtags. Less is more if you're being really strategic. And on Instagram, try not to go over 15 because it just might not do anything. Thank you.